So, have you ever asked yourself, are pre-workouts healthy?
Quite a few times.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
Well, in this review here, this ingredient profile is not that large, so I get to spend a little more time with you guys. So we're going to spotlight 2 or 3 of these ingredients and give you some information you probably didn't know before.
Are you in or out?
You guys ready?
Here we go.
So what's happening, guys? Hope your day's going well. Today we're going to review We Go Home Sups, the standard pre-workout. We're going to go over the ingredients so you know what you're putting in your body, and we'll go over my personal experience taking this for 2 weeks straight. That's right. Took it 2 weeks straight, whether I worked out or not, because I really wanted to test these ingredients and how healthy they are, and if I had any adverse side effects, anything bad came about taking this every single day. So I got to give you guys that information, but first, we're going to get the flavor out of the way. We're going to get the serving size. Then I'm going to jump into those ingredients for you. So let's get into this.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So the flavor, what we have here is a strawberry margarita flavor, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd like to say it was a 10 out of 10, but it was probably about an 8.5, possibly pushing it to a 9.
Tastes good.
Which isn't too bad. The ingredient profile is simple, but it's packed. So let's get into the serving size now. So what we have here is 30 servings. You don't see that too often. 1 scoop is supposed to be 15.5 grams. That is a serving. You got to pack that scoop or flat level to the side, and you're right in there at that 15.5 grams. So not too bad. Now on to the rest of the label. So first ingredient on the list is vitamin B6 at 5 milligrams. This has all kinds of different functions within the body. For one thing, it helps regulate cerebral homocysteine levels. It also helps with neurotransmitters like dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, serotonin, and GABA, because it's a cofactor to those neurotransmitter. It also helps with anxiety, fatigue, and depression. Then we have another B vitamin that basically does the same thing, because B vitamins are cofactors. So it's going to help with homocysteine levels. It's going to help with dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. And this is 12 micrograms of a healthier form, the methylcobalamin. Now on to the next ingredient. Then we have sodium at 250 milligrams coming from pink Himalayan salt. So that pink Himalayan salt is going to add some extra minerals to the mix here, some magnesium, some phosphorus, some potassium possibly, but we're talking about sodium here and the importance of sodium, especially when you're sweating. Doesn't have to be a lot because you're going to sweat in the gym, just even minor, you're losing sodium from your body, and sodium helps with a bunch of different situations within the body as far as with exercise, endurance, and energy. For one thing, it helps with hydration. We already know that. But the other thing it does, it helps with signaling across neural pathways and neurons for communication within the body. And then it also helps with muscle contractions by controlling the release of calcium out of the muscles for the contractional capability of the muscle. Now on to the next ingredient. Then we have L-citrulline malate at 6 grams. It's going to give you about 4 grams of L-citrulline, about 2 grams of malic acid. This combination is going to help with energy production within the gym. And the reason why is L-citrulline is going to help with vasodilation. It's going to turn into arginine. It's going to dilate or relax the blood vessels, which is going to increase ATP production by increasing the amount of oxygen that's delivered to the muscles, along with a few other ingredients. It also helps with the burn. So this is going to help you push through more reps and more sets like beta-alanine, which we'll get into, but it has a different aspect of doing that. It buffers ammonia within the body because it's part of a recycling ammonia system within the body to get rid of ammonia in the body. Then the malic acid is very crucial for ATP production on a cellular level because it helps in the Krebs cycle to produce that energy. Now on to the next ingredient. Then we have what I call the more reps, more sets ingredient. This is supposed to help with muscle endurance from 1 to 10 minutes, whether you're doing more reps or sets or whether you're on a treadmill for a little bit longer. Now, you do have to be saturated with this ingredient. This is something you have to take every single day until you hit that saturation point. It's going to differ with a lot of people, but 3.2 grams for 30 days or so will probably get you there. 6.2 grams, 6.4 grams every day for half of that would probably get you there. So if you're looking for the effects of lasting longer, you do have to get to a saturation point, kind of like a creatine effect. So what this does is it buffers hydrogen ions that build up as your muscles are being utilized during your training. Whether you're lifting weights, whether you're on the treadmill, these hydrogen ions build up because of lactic acid that's produced and ATP that's being broken down and some other metabolites as well. And if these hydrogen ions engulf the muscle cells, which there's multiple muscle cells, it will make the environment of the muscle acidic. The pH level will be off. And what that'll do is that'll cause a burning effect. It'll lessen the power output of the muscle, and the muscle's going to want to stop working so those hydrogen ions can be flushed out. Now on to the next one. Then we have total taurine at 1 gram. So this has multiple functions to it. For one thing, it helps with GABA and glycine receptors as a neurotransmitter and neuromodulator within the brain. It helps with the testes, building testosterone, believe it or not. We have taurine within the Leydig cells of the testes, and it also helps with osmoregulation within the body. And what this does is that osmoregulation is the controlling of the electrolytes in the water within cells, and that in turn is going to help regulate core body temperature. So now on to the next one. Then we have L-tyrosine at 1 gram. So this is going to help increase neurotransmitter production within the brain, especially the catecholamines, which are dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. That's because L-tyrosine turns into L-dopa. It's converted then into dopamine, and then dopamine is then converted into norepinephrine, and then norepinephrine is turned into epinephrine. So these are the catecholamines that help with cognitive function and focus during stressful situations. It may also help with your thyroid because tyrosine actually plays a big part in thyroid production, especially with the production of T3 or regulation of T3 and T4 in the body. Then we have betaine anhydrous, the methylation and osmoregulation ingredient at 1 gram. And how does this work? And what is methylation? This is a process in which a methyl group is transferred from one molecule to another. This process is important for a number of physiological functions, including the synthesis of neurotransmitters in the brain, the DNA in your cells, and other molecules. As an example of donating a methyl group is actually donated to an amino acid in the blood called homocysteine. You probably heard of it before. And that turns into methionine. And that conversion is going to help with lowering homocysteine levels within the body. So it's also considered an osmolyte or an osmoregulator. What is that, you ask? Let's get into it. The process of osmoregulation within the body is the process of maintaining salt and water balance on a cellular level. This is super important in maintaining a consistent normal blood pressure as well as water and mineral balance on a cellular level. If osmoregulation fails and the body loses too much water, which creates dehydration, the concentration of nutrients and waste products becomes too high, which can cause the metabolic processes in the cells to slow or stop, which can lead to severe health problems or even death. But in pre-workouts, it's designed to keep you hydrated and balanced to keep you going. Now on to the next ingredient. So lastly, we have caffeine at 200 milligrams. This is a natural source of caffeine from the coffee bean. You may be asking yourself, or you want to ask me, what's the difference between caffeine anhydrous and a natural source of caffeine? We see caffeine anhydrous everywhere. And the difference is it's less processed. Caffeine anhydrous means the removal of water. So basically they are removing the water, dehydrating the caffeine from the coffee bean to get the most purest form of caffeine out of it. And that's why some people will say, like myself, that caffeine anhydrous hits harder, faster, and kind of dips down, and you may get a crash from it. With natural source caffeine, you still have all the acids, the healthy aspects of the coffee bean in there, less processed, and it's more of a smoother hit. So you get elevated, and then it stays for a longer period of time without a high peak like caffeine anhydrous, and it'll stay a little longer. You come off it a lot smoother. That's the biggest difference. And this is an adenosine blocker. So it replaces itself on the adenosine receptors, not allowing adenosine to bind to the receptors, which makes you less tired, more energetic. So what can you expect on the effects of We Go Home Sups, the standard? I really like this thing. So let's get the effects out of the way. You're going to take this thing, I say in about 10, 15 minutes. You do feel some beta alanine coming in, but for me, it was not crazy. I felt in the face a little bit. No, like real harsh itching and scratching, and I believe it's just because of the ingredient profile. Caffeine came in about 30 minutes. That's when I felt it, and it just climbed up to about 60 minutes. And it was nothing crazy. It was just smooth.
Smooth. Very, very smooth stuff. Very classy.
You get some energy for your training. It starts to build up, especially with some of the ingredients in here. You start producing more energy from the body releasing lipids, utilizing carbohydrates, and you have a nice, clean, smooth workout, and you come off of it, you're not all scatterbrained, you're not all crazy, you got a nice little pump, it's not crazy, you got a nice little cognitive function and focus with a little feel-good feeling to it, nothing crazy, but it's all there, very well balanced. I like the way they put this thing together. Now, what I like to say is this can be taken by almost anybody. I took it for you guys 2 weeks straight. No problems whatsoever. I'm probably going to continue taking it. I don't know if I have any other pre-workouts, but until I get another one I have to review, I'm going to continue taking this thing every day in the morning, or, on workout days. I mean, most of the time I just need caffeine. I am a caffeine person, so I do need something to wake me up in the morning.
Just gotta have my coffee.
But what I really liked about this is if you've seen my Harry Potter cupboard.
Expelliarmus! What does that mean?
I have a ton of supplements because I test things. I test things on myself.
Yeah, Mr. White.
And I like to know how these things come together personally. So I have a lot of ingredients. So with this pre-workout here, there was a couple days where I'm like, you know what? Yesterday was 12 hours of work. I need a little something.
It can be done exactly how I want it.
And I'll throw some Panax ginseng, some himbine on this, maybe a little extra caffeine, maybe 100 milligrams. And there you go. I got a butt-kicking pre-workout there. And this is just basically a foundation for me right now while I'm messing with other ingredients, stacking it on this. So other than that, not much more I could say on this thing. It's just well-rounded. I love seeing these because it gives you, the consumer, the option of not getting something stem junkie-ish or buying something with 30 servings that you can have on your shelf while you're flip-flopping from a high stem pre-workout to when on a day you don't need the high stem and the central nervous system hit. Other than that, this is Dave. I'm signing off. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you next time on the channel.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.